Howdy on Welcome Back to Lives. I think it's time to play a little 7 Days to Die. Alright. Um, Inventory looks alright. This isn't doing anything, so let's turn that off. I guess we're gonna... Oh, right. We're gonna head out to the different town today, right? Wasn't that the plan? I believe that was the plan for this episode. I probably should have taken... I've got food and water with me. So on the old map here, we got this area here. I think I'm gonna head to. It's not too far away. I really prefer the towns in green to the towns in other territories. It's just easier to work with. I thought that was a nest. Oop, a little pause there. I'm doing a little midday recording. It is it's a holiday day. I don't remember which one. It's either Labor Day or Memorial Day, and I can never remember which is which. I don't know why. It's just they're so similar in my head. I know they're for different reasons. But the way they're celebrated is so the same in my house. Uh, and this must be Labor Day. Right? We'll say it is. And, I'm pretty sure Memorial Day is in May and Labor Day is in September, or I've got it backwards. I think it's the other way, though, because I'm pretty sure Memorial Day they put flowers on graves, and they're not doing that today, so... I don't really... I don't know. I'm not a holiday person. I know neither of those are really that kind of holiday. Anyways, enough about my ignorance of holidays. So yeah, so work slow. Obviously, it's a holiday. I'd rather just work. I've got a little over an hour in so far today before things slow down. Because here's the thing, I my job is not scheduled, and so I can work as much as I want on any given day as long as I complete the amount of work necessary during the week. But if I don't do the work today, I'm going to want to do the work later. And so if I don't work today, it just means I have to work extra the rest of the days of the week. So I was kind of hoping maybe, just maybe, there'd be plenty of work today. I didn't think there would be. Because it's a holiday, and, you know. But, anyways, so here I am, playing some 7 Days to Die. I'd rather be doing this. Let's be honest. I would much rather be playing 7 Days to Die than working. No. Uh-oh. Get some stamina back, dude. They're gonna kill you. There we go. We're doing alright so far. We got two zombies dead. I totally didn't take the roads. I watched the first. All right. Let's go in a different order. So I'm over at a friend's house, and he has recently gotten into horror movies again. Um, for the longest time, when we were younger, we watched horror movies together all the time, all the time. And so somewhere in there, uh, he stopped watching horror movies because it started giving him nightmares. The number of adults that I know who used to watch horror movies with me and then stopped because it started giving them nightmares is ridiculous. Like I don't get nightmares like that. I don't really get nightmares. Uh and I definitely have never gotten any from watching a show, and shows don't scare me. Uh, so I don't necessarily get it, but why would you as an adult suddenly be unable to watch horror movies because you get nightmares from watching the same horror movies that you used to watch when you were younger? I don't know. But yeah, so for the longest time he stopped. Um, Decades, like 20 years. And then all of a sudden he started watching them again. And so we were talking about, he was asking if I had seen some of the things he has recently watched, which I had. Um, and, I was like, ooh, have you seen this? 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 He's watched a couple things I haven't. He finished The Haunting of Hill House, which I haven't managed to drag my way through because I find it utterly boring. I don't keep reading all these reviews of it, and they're like, "Oh man, it is the scariest." Forgot to turn my fan speed down. It's the scariest thing, and I'm like, is it? Because I've yet to see anything actually scary happen in it. And I'm pretty far in. There have been ghosts and stuff, but I don't know. It's like that. Uh, I really want to watch that Ju-on series, and I watched a couple of episodes in it, and it's kind of the same way. It's just it. It's not scary in the way I was expecting. Ooh, that is a big building there. Is this the hospital? This looks like an apartment building. Does an apartment building have lots of bookshelves? I don't recall. I think there's probably yep, the basement entrance. And um, because you know me, I'm definitely gonna die multiple times trying to get through here. Should I repair this now? I think I'll wait. Um, but anyway, so we talked about that stuff, and then he said, uh, "Oh man, have you heard about this movie?" And I'm like, "Okay, no." And so then he shows it to me. Shows me. Oh, dang it, dogs! I missed the doorway. Die, dog, die! Oh man, dogs! They're my bane. I tell ya. So Uh, where did you come from? So with my broke leg, the zombies are now faster than I am. Oh great, another dog just came in. Well, I wanted to loot this place, but I can't fight dogs. I just don't have the equipment for it yet. I didn't bring my gun and my bullets for dogs. I definitely should have. So I need to find a gun and some bullets to fight dogs with. Cause I can't do it with my fists. Um but so he's like the have you seen this movie, The Baby of Macan? Maybe that's how it's pronounced. It's got a accent mark or something over top of one of the letters, over the A, and so I don't know what that changes the pronunciation to. Uh, and so he's like, people are saying this is like the hardest thing to watch that they've ever seen. It's pretty tame. It's got a little bit of gore in it. And it's a play. So I could see where it could be an interesting movie plot. Um, but yeah, it it was a weird play. One of those like the whole thing takes place in one area. It's on a stage, and it uh, obviously there's gonna be spoilers as I talk about it because that's how I do. Uh, oh, my axe is about to break. My axe is broke. I don't. Can you use a repair kit for that? Oh, you can. Sweet. So it's it's a little hard to understand. It's in English, but it's in a flowery, like way of speaking. It's like it's not quite Shakespeare, but it's headed in that direction. And not that I necessarily have I didn't have a difficult time understanding it. It's just that it's not in simple, normal, everyday speak English, right? And so it's kind of set back, I don't know, in the Shakespearean times, probably. Maybe a little after that, maybe like the 1700s. Um, but it basically boils down to is a woman. No, dang it! I heard the noises and I didn't get away. It basically, get out of the water. It basically boils down to a woman decides to trick a church into believing that she has given birth to her brother because her mother, who's of advanced age, had given birth, and nobody believes that a woman as old and ugly as her mother could be the child's mother. And and so then she basically creates a cult around this kid, and the prince believes her, and uh, he that was impressive. Bye, guy. Uh, and so he uh, he helps set up this cult with this woman and this kid, and cheerleaders are tough. And and then this other guy shows up, who she wants to sleep with, and so through things that go on, he dies. She gets blamed for it. They put other people in charge of the child, and then they start selling blood from the child, and so she decides that she doesn't want anyone else in charge of him, and so she kills him. And so then they kill her, and oh, I didn't realize I was that badly hurt. And yeah, and so that was that was basically the movie. It's got a couple of slightly gory parts, I guess. I don't I don't I don't feel any different about watching a person being killed, like an adult being killed, than I do for seeing a child being killed necessarily. I mean, sure, sometimes depending on exactly the circumstance, but for the most part, in something like this, it's just okay. And so maybe that's what makes it hard for people to watch. But it's not a horror movie, it's a stage play. And so when they're taking the parts from the child, it's clearly not as realistic as some horror movies I've watched. And so it's not like I can make myself believe that I'm watching a child be dismembered, right? And or maybe it's touches too much on religion for them to be able to watch it. I don't know. I just don't know. It wasn't great. It was. I could see where it could be an interesting movie, where they could expound on some of the things that are the subject, but it's like a play, and I was reading what that said, something about. Dang it, not a cheerleader. They're the worst. I really wish I could find some brass knuckles. Because that would make my life a little better. And these leather fist wraps. So yeah, I was a little disappointed because I was expecting a horror movie, and then I was expecting something like I saw somebody comparing it to Rosemary's Baby, and it wasn't anything even of the same kind of story. So I just it was a movie about a cult that went wrong. I've seen worse. Maybe it's because I've seen worse. You know, uh, I don't know if he's watched it, but I watched it. It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. I don't know. It had some good actors in it. I'm pretty sure that I may have even read that story before. Because I remember some of the things that happened in it, but I don't think I've ever seen that movie before. But yeah, that was uh, that was one of the things I watched. The other thing I wanted to talk about was I did enjoy quite a bit is the new uh, so they've got this new spate of movies it seems lately about robots. And I'm a huge science fiction nerd, and so oh, we're in trouble. And so they've had all these like shows about robots lately, like Lost in Space, and was it called Mother? Was really good on Netflix there, and so HBO had a new series started this week called Raised by Wolves, and I'm rather enjoying that so far. There were three episodes out already, and it oh where'd you come from? Zombie falls to the ground. I look up to see where. Oh, another zombie gets me from behind. Apparently, I would not survive the zombie apocalypse. Apparently, I'm really bad at this game lately. I did up the difficulty though. They hit a lot harder. It's okay. I'm just here to collect books, and I'm doing that. So that was my goal. Everything else is extra, although it'd be nice to go up a level once in a while. You lost 10% of your XP. I'm always losing 10% of my XP, stupid game. I don't like it. I can't get ahead because I can't stay alive. I don't know what they want me to do because I can't stay alive. Oof, I better be heading back to my base here pretty quick. It's getting dark. And I'm over encumbered. I got a little bit here. We can head back and did not get a bicycle, unfortunately. So Raised by Wolves, which I keep calling Better Than Wolves because I play a game called Better Than Wolves. So if I call it Better Than Wolves, I meant Raised by Wolves, and it was pretty good. It was not what I was expecting. I watched a trailer for it. I thought it was about one thing. It's sort of about that thing, but it's different. And it's pretty interesting so far. Spoilers, because I am gonna spoil these 3 episodes because I want to talk about what went down in these episodes that made me like it so much. So first off, the premise is Earth was involved in a war. They haven't really explained everything that happened on Earth so far, but there was definitely a war between two groups. The uh, although I don't understand the two groups at all, um, but the I want to say Mithras was one of the cults. Mithras was a cult, and then there were the atheists, which in this is basically a cult, and they fought each other in a war apparently, and um, so uh, it was decided to flee Earth, and the uh, I really don't think calling one of the groups atheists, even though they have atheistic beliefs, is accurate. Because it more seems like, right now, it more seems like an argument between how androids should be used. Both sides are using androids. Maybe, I don't know. There are no atheists actually in this show so far, that I've seen. And so uh, the atheist send frozen embryos with two androids to the planet because a smaller ship that um, doesn't require life support is faster. And so they got there first, and they set up their little camp. I swear they said there were 12 embryos, but they only raised 6 children. So I'm not sure why they haven't used the other 6 embryos. Or maybe they did, and they've just got 2 camps because all what went down with the children, and so they've tried twice maybe, and so it's pretty interesting. They got the 2 androids, um and then they've got some stuff with these 2 people who I think are members of the cult of Mithras, but are like not not wholehearted believers in it, and so they uh while in battle on Earth uh got their hands on a medical droid and then killed 2 high level members of the cult of Mithras and had the medical droid reshape their faces to look like those people and doctored the medical information. And so now they're on board the Ark, which apparently is the last of the humans from Earth, but they only brought about 1,000 people. And um, and so yeah, then they found out that those people had a kid, but the kid isn't aware that they're not his parents, because war. His like I think he was raised by the church instead of with his parents, and so he's not that familiar with his parents, uh, and so when they start talking to him and interacting with him, he mentions that they're different than he remembers, but that he had been told that people in virtual reality, because they spend their trip in virtual reality while their bodies are frozen, act differently. And so he doesn't know they're not his parents, and then they're pretending to be true believers in this cult, uh, and and so that part's interesting to me, and I don't quite understand what's going on there. And so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But it gets weirder is that so they got these two androids that the atheists sent to raise these children, and one is a male designation called father, and the other is a female designation called mother. And um, uh, so father and mother um, are basically trying to raise these children, but something is going wrong, and the children are dying from some kind of disease they can't figure out. And so only one of the children so far has stayed alive, and they don't know why. And then the arc of the cult finally shows up at the planet. And so they had planned to have this like base established by the time the cult. I don't know how long they thought the cult was going to take to get there, because the cult shows up, and I mean the kid is basically what, like 10 maybe. And so they had 10 years. I don't think a 10-year jump is enough to prepare for the oncoming enemy, right? And so this goes over here, right? And so the cult shows up, and mother starts malfunctioning, and so father wants to shut her down, and so her and father fight, and father gets disabled by mother. And the kid, while this is going on, goes to their old ship and signals the Ark. And so then some of the cults of Mithras show up, including this guy who's pretending to be someone else. And then he wants to take the kid back with him and kill the android. And they send their android to kill her, and she may not necessarily be breaking down. It turns out, instead, what has happened is they took one of the cult of Mithras super weapons and reprogrammed it to be mother. And so she's this like super weapon called a necromancer. And so she just destroys them. The dude who's pretending to be someone else manages to escape. But then she goes to the Ark and brings it to the ground and kills most of the people on board who are awake, and then takes a handful of children who are awake and brings them back to their camp, and then restarts father, And so now they're with the children, and they've been on the planet for 10 years, at least. They've never found another life form, and then they get attacked by creatures. And not only that, but there's these giant holes in the ground that belong to giant dragon worms that have not made an appearance, but their bones are scattered all over the place. And Father had climbed down in the hole to activate part of the ship and found some skin from a smaller dragon worm after he had told the kid that they didn't exist anymore. And so they're obviously down there shedding. And so yeah, so I don't know what's gonna happen, but it's pretty crazy, and it's not what I thought the show was. Because I thought from the trailer that what had happened was there's a space station where one android has children, and then this other android has children on the planet, and that they were fighting over the children, and that she was crazy because she's crazy, but not in the way that I thought she was crazy. And while I think she might be a tad strict on the uh, no religion issue because she was programmed by atheists, um, uh, because you can have religion and believe in science at the same time. I mean, you know, and so, but their thing is you can't, and and so that part's a little weird. Um, but the rest of it is pretty good science fiction so far. Uh, and man, her whatever her ability is, some kind of sonic weapon, is just crazy. And so when she enters she's moving so fast that it looks like everything is in um, bullet time. Uh, she's like rah, and people just explode into clouds of blood, and the blood is still floating in the air as she's moving through it and blasting the next person and the next person and the next person. It's crazy, but yeah, it's pretty good so far. Um, well, with that, I have definitely talked long enough, so I will call it here. So be better in the small things, lean in the light. I will talk to you later.